Hey guys, welcome back to eVivid Artistry. My name is Emily Artist, and today we are going to be reviewing another palette, as you guys can tell from the title of this video. And you can also tell which palette I will be reviewing today by the title of this video. And because I will be reviewing this palette specifically, it's going to be a little bit tricky filming. Me, myself, am not 100% comfortable naming all of these names for you. So what I will do is I will hold up the palette and show you the color, and I personally will not be saying any of these names, just because I feel like it would be best that way. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into the palette. This is the box that it comes in. I really like the art that he has going on, and the letters are nice and raised, and then he has his logo on the front. So I'm now gonna go ahead and open up the box. I really like the rose gold color as well. Alright, so I don't know if any of you guys are up to date with his videos or anything like that, but I remember in one of the videos, I think debuting this palette, he said this is actually him on a big letter. So he's not photoshopped onto a letter, he's actually on a really big letter and then they took a photo, which I think is really cool and creative. The lettering is raised, everything is raised, even the logo, just not as much as the title of the palette. And I like that the palette is a nude color because this is more of a nude palette. So I'm going to take off the protector and I'm going to show you the colors. So for first impressions of the colors, obviously this is a more nude palette. It is a more subdued palette. I personally love his colorful palettes. I've mostly bought his colorful palettes you have seen on this channel. If you haven't before, I will link them down below or in the bar up above of the reviews that I've done on his Blue Blood and his Blood Sugar palette. So I really like those palettes in particular. So I really wanted to try this one because I do have a lot of nude eyeshadow palettes. I don't really show them off that much on this YouTube channel just because I really like color. So that's what I mostly gravitate towards and that's what I mostly do. And that's where I feel the most comfortable and the most creative. So I thought that I should kind of spend the money to see how his nude colors react. And there's also a really, really hefty mirror up here. I'm not there, so you can kind of see it. I don't want you to see my actual beauty room. It actually adds to the weight of the palette, which makes it feel luxurious. The palette is more of a cardboard, which is nice, especially for my brides. These types of colors I would be using on a lot of them. So I like a cardboard palette so I can depot. So that could be a plus for you. If you don't like cardboard packaging, that's basically what this is. Personally, I don't mind. So that is my first impressions when it comes to the palette and the physicality of it and the style of it. I think overall it's a nice palette. It's a big size. It's a pretty big palette. So if you are looking for a palette with everyday shades, just nudes because that's mostly what you wear, and you want nice options, I would definitely grab this palette. All of the shades are matte, which is also really nice. I personally love mattes. However, if you wanted to put a shimmer shade on your lid, you definitely can't do that with this palette. However, if you have another shimmer shade in a different palette or in a single, you could definitely pair that with this. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the palette. Because there are so many shades, I'm only going to put a few on my eye. However, if I really like the shades and I like the color payoff and how it's blending, I will definitely be doing different installments using this palette over time, just so we can kind of get to all of the colors. But I don't want to just grab all the colors and throw them on my face right now because I feel like it wouldn't really work. So I'm feeling like I will probably do a funky structure to my eye in order to utilize more colors and also to show the potential of this palette so it's not just everyday nude glam, unless that's what you're going for, or you wanted to jazz it up if you have this palette, and to kind of give you a couple more ideas of what looks you could do with this palette. If you're not using it for freelance and you're just using it for yourself, or you are using it for freelance, there's so much that you can already do with this palette. I'm very excited to use it, so without further ado, I'm just gonna go ahead and jump off camera, and I'm going to do my eyebrows and prep my eyelids for the eyeshadow, and when we come back, I will just jump right on in. Alright, so I actually wanted to try something with this palette, and I didn't film it, obviously. because I suck at that. I actually used 3 different colors out of this palette in order to get my eyebrows. I used this one at the front of the brow, this one from the middle toward the end of the brow, and this one at the tail of the brow. The way I currently do my eyebrows anyway is usually with an eyeshadow powder, but I feel like using the colors in this palette will definitely complement the colors when I put them on my eye. So now that my eyebrows are done and my eyelids have been prepped for the eyeshadow, I'm now going to be taking a very small and precise crease brush, and I will be taking this shade and I will be placing that in my crease from the inner corner to the outer corner and slightly above as well. This one will be my transition shade. I will now be taking this shade and I will be setting my brow bone area and just above where I laid that first shade. So now that I set my brow bone, I'm going to be taking that first shade again and just blending it a little bit higher than I did before. I will now be taking this shade and using that same precise blending brush, I will blend that into the crease and up toward my eyebrow, but not as high as the first eyeshadow. I will now be taking this shade and with a smaller brush, I will be placing that in the crease as well, just lower than the other 2 shades that I placed there. Alright, so now that I have this really sharp crease, I'm actually very happy with how this is turning out so far. The blending is really nice, but I will save the majority of my thoughts to the end. So I am now just going to be taking some concealer and I'm really going to be cleaning this up and cutting the crease. Alright, so I tried to make it as even as possible. If it's still a little bit off, then it's still a little bit off. I will be taking this shade again, and I will be using that shade to set the inner half of my lid. Alright, so now that I set half of my lid, I'm now going to focus on the outer corner. I'll be taking this shade again. I'll be placing that color on the outer V. I will be taking the shade again, and I will be placing that right next to the dark brown shade that I put on before. I will now be taking this shade again, and I will be placing that more toward the center of the lid and feathering it toward the inner corner. Ooh, I like it. Okay. Alright, so now this is the eyeshadow look completely done. I'm very happy with how it's turned out. So before I go too much into my thoughts, we are going to finish up the eye look. So I'm going to go off camera, do the rest of my foundation and base, and when we come back, I will do my lower lash line. Alright, so now that the rest of my face is done, I'm going to go ahead and finish up my eyes by doing the lower lash line. It's nothing spectacular, nothing super special. I'm just going to be using the same 3 shades that I used on my lid on the lower lash line and connecting them. Alright, so now this is the eyeshadow look completely done. So I'm now gonna go ahead and go off camera and I will do my mascara, my lipstick, and my lashes, and when I come back it will be the final look. Alright you guys, so this is the final look. I am very, very happy with how it turned out, to be quite honest. I was not expecting it to look this good. Now, for my final thoughts. So, with this palette, I absolutely loved it. So out of the 30 shades in this palette, I only used 7 of them, which is actually a pretty good amount. First of all, it's very appealing to look at because of the lighter shades up here, and then they gradually get darker into this corner. I think it's honestly stunning to look at, and it's just so visually satisfying. And you know, normally when I look at a colorful palette, I'm like, oh, look at all these amazing colors that I can do so much with. And when I look at nudes, I'm like, okay, I can do like the standard 3 color eye, where it's like your transition shade, your medium shade, and then your really dark shade on the outer corner, and then your light shade on the center, and then you call it a day. That's just normally what my mind goes to when it comes to nudes. So it was really fun to actually kind of go out of the box a little bit and do something fun and creative with a nude palette that is all mattes. So I had a lot of fun playing with this palette. I think the colors blend beautifully. So if you are honestly looking for an eyeshadow palette that has every color you need, I even used it for my eyebrows and I think it looks stunning. It's a multi-purpose palette. There are some shades in there. You could definitely use it for like a contour shade. You could definitely use it for like an eyeliner color. You could definitely do like what I did for the eyebrows. You can use it for that as well. You can do so much with this palette and still look very, very glam and done up, or you can look very, very natural. I am very, very pleased with this palette. I'm very happy that I purchased it. Now on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being one of the worst palettes ever and 10 being one of the best palettes ever, I would put this at a 10. A 10 out of 10. 100% I will be using this again. Personally, I think this palette is 100% worth it. I would highly recommend you go get this palette, and you will probably see this palette be popping up in so many other videos of mine, especially when it comes to more natural looks, which I don't normally do, but if you guys request them, I will definitely show you some tips and tricks on how to do natural looks or how to do bridal looks or anything like that. So if you do have any suggestions on videos or suggestions of what to do with this palette other than this bold look and you want me to take it back, I can definitely do that. But I wanted to put my personality and spin on a look. So that's why I kind of did this, and I think it's absolutely stunning. With all of that being said, and there's really nothing else I can say about this palette, it's beautiful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys liked the video. If you did like the video, please like the video, and also comment down below if you like this look, if you want to see me do different looks with this palette or any other looks in general or any other palettes to review. I would love your suggestions, and I love hearing you guys in the comments. Also subscribe to the channel as well. All of this really does help me out a lot, and also share the video if you want to show your friends and family so we can all get inspired and create together. With all of that being said, thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!